Hi, welcome back. In this episode, we're going to deal with salmon again, but it's going to be a different type of preparation. So I personally like sashimi, but the legend of this dish goes that a renowned sushi chef offered a customer sushi and they said they didn't eat raw fish, so he thought about it for a bit and decided he could do something about it to make the dish palatable to that customer and still an authentic Japanese dish, and they developed what they called New-Age Sushi, or New-Age Sashimi. So if you're not a big raw fish fan, this might be the answer for you. It's a more elegant preparation. It's great for a date or your significant other. And we're going to start real quick by letting you know that the salmon, I already prepped it in advance. So this was purchased from Costco, and I then took the salmon, took the skin off, washed it, and covered it in salt on a cookie sheet, which I kept elevated on one end, and that extracted moisture out of the fish. I then washed the salt off the fish and then put it in the fridge to let it cool down a bit. And I've taken it out and we're going to cut some slices off of it. So I'm going to start by doing that. So I have a good sharp knife here, and what I like to do is, you can see the grain of the meat is going kind of from top right to bottom left, and I'm going to cut against that grain, and I'm just going to cut really thin pieces, and it's best if you can cut it in one pass. So one pass, pull it away, and I've got a nice thin piece of fish that I'm going to lay on my plate, and I'm going to do this for however many pieces of fish that I need to cut. And the fish is still kind of cool from being in the fridge, so it's kind of dragging on my knife, but I want these to be real thin. So this is thinner than a normal sashimi preparation. And we're just cutting these nice thin pieces of salmon. And you'll understand why it's important to cut these somewhat thin when we get to how this is going to be further prepared. And we'll just lay those really kind of nicely on there. As you can see, the salt has taken quite a bit of the moisture of this meat out, and that's also affecting how it's cutting. So really thin and refrigerated, and a little drier than sashimi might normally be. Now we're going to set this off to the top, and we're going to prep a few other things that we might want to put on our dish. So I really like some really finely cut, one little piece of finely shaved almost jalapeno on each piece. And these are real fine, like we're not going to burn your taste buds off with these or anything, right? They're going to be just kind of a subtle little kick of heat. And we'll just shave these and we'll put them nicely on each piece. And it's just one. We're not going to cover the entirety of the fish with that. So just one. And then we're going to cut up some chives. And I like to fold them over, keep your fingers back, and I let the blade of my knife just kind of glide down my finger. So I don't know if you can see that, but I keep my fingers tucked back, and I just run the knife along the side of my finger. And if I do that, I can't cut myself as we're doing this. And see, we're going to kind of make this dish not only taste nice, but it's going to look nice. So we'll get, and then with what we have left, we have a little bit left, we can just put it on our plate.
Okay.
And that's going to about take care of that. And then sometimes you may have other things like green onion or something that you want to put on there. I don't really want to do that. Typically, I would wait till the very end to put down kind of these little side accoutrements or whatever you would want to call them. I like sushi ginger. You can buy it at Safeway. You can buy it just about anywhere. We went and bought that from our local Asian store. Very good. It's a real high quality, but it's very strong. But I don't really care because I enjoy sushi ginger. And then I'll also put down a little kimchi. I tend to like the fermented aspect of that for low carb eating. So eating some small type of fermented food is very good for you, and that's about, I would say that's about maybe 1/3 of an ounce, so that's less than a gram of carbs, so not bad at all for what we're getting out of it. And I might just take some parsley. I like this little pre-prepared parsley. It's a bit strong, but I like the flavor. Mm-hmm. And we'll just put a little bit of that on there too. We don't want to get too much. We don't want to get too crazy. But I think that's a decent looking dish. And now the next part of this. So this is just olive oil. And I think I was telling you earlier that the customer that the chef wanted to prepare for did not want to eat a raw fish preparation, and so he took a couple types of oil. I'll usually use this coconut oil. It's a refined coconut oil, so at room temperature it's still liquid and it can resist high heat. This time, however, we're just going to go with olive oil, and we're going to get that in a pan and we're going to get that heating up. We're going to let that smoke. It's going to be very hot. And then I'm going to put some sesame chili oil in there just for a little bit of heat, not a lot. And I'm going to put some toasted sesame oil in there for a little bit of that sesame, little bit of flavor, little bit of nutty flavor because it's roasted sesame seeds. So that can be a nice touch for that. And while this oil is coming up, you want to be very careful with it because that's going to be very hot. But while that's coming up, I'm going to prepare sauces on the plate. And I used to think I wanted to put this on the plate after the fact, but I decided it'd probably be better. And I'm just putting some soy sauce, a little bit of ponzu, some typical Japanese sauces that you might find on a sushi or sashimi dish. I'm really careful with mirin. I love mirin. I use it a lot, but you have to use it sparingly because it is a little bit carby. So I try not to use it. I try not to use too much of it. And then I like hitting a little citrus on there. Ponzu has a bit of a citrus in it already, but I like a little bit fresher taste of some citrus, so I like to use that. So our plate is pretty much prepared for our next part of the process. So we're heating our oil on high, and we're going to heat it until it starts to smoke. And until it does, I'm going to start putting our refrigerated components back in the fridge.
Go.
Okay, so we've put our components back. Our oil is smoking. So we know that's really super hot, right? So we have to be really, really very careful with this. Now, if you don't have all these sauces and all these components, that's fine. You don't have to use all that. Or if you have soy sauce but you don't have ponzu, that's fine. Use what you have. Use a squeezed lemon on it. Something like that. Just something citrusy, something salty. And we're going to take this oil and we're basically cooking that salmon with that hot oil. Did you see that boil there?
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
Yeah.
that looks good.
So this provides a little bit of flavor with with all those oils, but specifically the sesame oils. But you also get some flavor from the olive oil, and I like using coconut oil for that flavor as well. Be very careful with everything. It's very hot. So at this point, this dish is ready to serve, and you can see that wherever the oils hit and wherever that oil's sitting, it kind of cooks the surface of that fish. Mm-hmm. So it's not really completely raw, and it's not overcooked. More importantly, gotta love that. So the temperature of this is probably 100 degrees. It's right over room temperature, maybe 90. And a little bit of heat from that jalapeno, the saltiness of the soy sauce, the little bit of a citrus note, and then that parsley. Really super good. And you have a little kimchi and a little bit of ginger at the end. That is a really good bite of food. So try this at home and impress your significant other. You're really going to like this New-Age sashimi.